Good everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we have the sale overview of 2021. This is going to be longer than normal because we're going to be doing this year a little different. Normally I would just go over the vehicles that I got in the sale, but this time we're going to be changing it up a bit. First off, we're going to be bringing up all the Battle Pass and the Warbonds vehicles that I've gotten throughout the months, just because I feel they need to be mentioned. And additionally, I'm also going to be bringing up event vehicles that I've gotten, albeit there's not many, but I still would like to make that point. Additionally, I would like to give two shout-outs to two of my subs before I start this video fully. Number one is Bertie Burt. Bertie Burt gave me 1000 G to get the plane that you are currently witnessing on the screen. And finally, I really have to give a special shout-out to sub number 2. That being Jane Sprite. She gave me 5,000 golden eagles, so that most of the vehicles in this sale are pretty much gotten because of her. So give her a big fat thanks in the comments, and thank her basically for giving, well, pretty much the entire list. If I was to be brutally honest, I mean, I got 1300 GE. Bertie gave me 1000 for this thing. And the rest was because of Jane and Bertie giving G and all that. So, thank those two greatly. I'll leave a link to Bertie's channel in the description as well. Go give him a sub. He's earned it, I think. So, going over the first vehicle and the only sale vehicle for the USA, and that is the BTD-1. A plane which has a rather bad reputation with Mr. Hairy Feet, but that is just the way it works. I've had a few flights. You will be seeing a review on this thing very soon, which is going to be the first flight I had in this thing, and I have to admit, I actually quite like it. It's not as bad as it used to be brutally honest, and it actually feels a lot better now. But one thing's for certain, I will be using this for my naval tasks, that's for definite. And, well, it's got great guns, great payload, and its air brakes are surprisingly effective. Moving on to vehicle number 2, we have one of the Warbond, well not the Warbonds, the Battle Pass vehicles I bought last season, and this is one of the vehicles that I got. This is the USS Detroit. I don't know a thing about it, I just know it has a lot of guns. That's about all it has going for it. And, well, at least it doesn't have to fight battleships anymore, because that's always a positive, isn't it? I probably won't be using this thing anytime soon. I've not set sail in it yet, but given that I might be able to get, if I did my maths right, another USS vehicle, well, another US destroyer in the Warbond shop, this thing will at least have a friend, so that if I need to do a blue water task, I'll defo use these two. Coming up next, we have one of the Warbonds vehicles, which, again, you're going to be getting a review of. The US Grant 1. An excellent vehicle, at least in my opinion, very similar to the M3 Lee with a few changes, which I'll cover in the video itself. Really nice to play, really like it. Next up, we have another vehicle from the sale, and this is the BV238. I'm fairly certain a lot of people on the channel are going to be quite happy with me getting this thing. Don't worry, review is on the way. And I have to admit, this thing's a barrel of laughs. I had one match where half the enemy team decided to land on the runway. I dropped my last 9 bombs and killed 3 of them, so that was pretty funny. But this thing is just a meme. What else can I say? Next up, we have this thing. You've obviously seen a review for this thing, and I don't like it, but it's a Warbonds vehicle, so I'm bringing it up. If you want to know why I don't like this thing, go check out the review. That's all I'm going to say. Then we have the SDKFC 251-22. It's a half-track, which I love, and it's got a big fat fucking gun. What else do I need to mention here? Its reload, obviously, this is on one of my worst crews, isn't amazing, but it gets the job done when it's on a really good crew. The suspension's really crap, and the gun depression's even worse, but to be brutally honest, I just take this thing out for the firepower. Let's be realistic here. The only Russian vehicle I got was the I-16 Type 28, which, seriously, the I-16s look like they have a mustache, but this little guy cost 675 GE, which was quite a bit for what I was expecting, but obviously 50% off. I'd rather pay 50% off than half price. This is one of the first vehicles that James Bright helped get towards. The BV was covered by my GE grind and the rest of, well, in fact, it was entirely covered by my GE grind. James Bright's donation went towards this plane, so thank her for that. It's a nice little plane. You will get a review on it very soon. It's a lovely little plane, but it does have some pretty big flaws, which I'm going to have to point out. On to Great Britain, we have the Mustang Mark 1A, another vehicle donated by James Bright. What else do I have to say? It's a Mustang, it has a crap ton of camos. I can't wait to get this thing out a bit more. Then we have something that, well, thanks to me working, I can actually treat myself to. I treated myself to a Wyvern. I've only had one flight, and it does feel very nice. The only catch is I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do a review on this thing, because all this thing does is make my eardrums bleed, even with the engine volume at minimum. That tells you how loud this thing is. I'll figure out a way, but you will get a review on the Wyvern, and given how many of these things are spam lately, that video will probably do pretty well, to be brutally honest. Moving on to Japan, we have the P51C11NT, another vehicle thanks to James Bright. This, well, it's Evelina. Harry has not shut the hell up about this thing, and all he would say in the Discord chat was, Evelina, get an Evelina. Evelina, and that's all he'd go on about. But now I have one, so now he can get off my neck, because honestly, all he ever went on about was Evelina. Then we have another vehicle thanks to James Bright, the Kai-61 High Tarders. Again, another plane Harry's been mentioning, and well, all I'll say is I will be making some planes disappear thanks to this thing. And there you go, Bertie, there's your one pun, because I had to make a ta-da joke. As you pull the trigger, the plane magically disappears. Ta-da! There you go. Next up, the A6M5 Co. Thanks to me selling, trading cards on Steam and just general crap I don't want in my Steam inventory, I've been able to sell this, well, enough just to get this thing for free. So that really tells you how busy I've been behind the scenes. But the A6M5 Co, probably one of the most talked about premiums, and let's be realistic, it's one of Harry's. Whilst it's also a favourite of his, it's also a hated one of his, because there's always a fucking Co. Next up, the Kai-21 1 High. You've obviously seen a review for this thing. You've seen a pretty funny moment I had in this thing, and if you're in the Discord server, you would have seen this thing firsthand. What else can I say? It's a fun plane. I'm glad I got it in Warbonds, and well, yeah, all I will say, cracking little plane. The same could not be said for this thing, the A6M6C. Not a good plane at all, that's why it's got a bomb strapped, don't like it, probably won't ever like it, but for those that are wondering, yes, you will eventually get a video on this thing someday. I don't know when I'm going to do that though, because I need to figure out a way to include this thing in a series of some sort. Probably going to do a Battle Pass Vehicles series, to be honest, once I get the Detroit's Friend, if I choose to get that. Nothing in China, so now we're going straight over to Italy for the Panzer IV-G, also known as the Pasta Panzer. Quite like this thing as well. You will get a review on this thing eventually as well. And, well, it's a lovely little tank. I mean, it's a Panzer IV, which is actually at a decent, well, I shouldn't say decent, reasonable BR, because why the hell is the German one at 3.3 when it is better than the Panzer IV F2 in pretty much most aspects? I will never know, but we can thank the German crybabies, I suppose. But this one sat at 3.7, has a cracking lineup to back it up, and if you really want to push it, you can make an entire lineup of non-Italian vehicles. Because yes, Gaijin. Next, we have the Bf-110G4. I forgot to mention the Panzer IV-G and the Bf-110 are all also down to James Bright. This thing is a lot of fun. I've got a 6-kill carry in this thing for your review of this thing. All I will say is this thing, whilst it is very fat, it can get the bloody job done. And whilst it isn't as effective as a fighter as you might be looking for, all I will say is it's a barrel of laughs. And I mean, for God's sake, you've got 4151 and 2 Mark or MK108. What else do I really need to mention here? Moving on to France, we have the French P47D22RE, which is the last contribution that Jane Sprite could do. But it's a Thunderbolt. We all know I'm a sucker for Thunderbolts. You're going to see a nice match with me and Matkov. And well, whilst it isn't as fun or consistent as the Yak 3, it is still something that you need to obviously bring up. And I can't wait to get the review out of this thing, because a lot of people really do think the Razorback Thunderbolts are bad. I disagree. Fair enough, they're not the most consistent, and they're not the most... what's the word? Like, they're not the most, shall we say, effective, or like, they're not the most good for most situations. But if you set it up right, you'll do just fine. Next up, we have this thing, the LVT440. Obviously, I've got the Jasmine camouflage on it right now. All I will say is this thing is absolutely broken. I have played this thing about 5 times, I think, and every single time I've gotten an ace, so that tells you how broken this damn thing is. Again, I'll probably have to feature this thing in a Battle Pass sort of series. Before anyone asks, no, I did not buy the season Battle Pass. I grinded to level 150 and managed to get this season free. So everything that's going to be in this Battle Pass, I'm getting for free. Just bear that in mind. Then, of course, we have the EBR 1963. I've not played this thing yet because I've been too busy spading the Tech Tree one, which has been taking forever because teams are bad. But if I like the 75mm one so much, with the short 75 that is, I don't have the long 75 one, I should like this thing, and well, I got the Voltager camouflage and all that jazz, so I think I'll enjoy this thing. And finally, we come to the last event vehicle, which is the P-Bill M40. Was tempted to do a review, but then everyone and their mothers did it, so I just left it. And I might be responsible for why this thing went to 1.7. Sorry, Moses, because I know you love this thing. But, end of the day, that's just how crap happens. Before I end the video, however, there is one other point I need to mention. There is going to be 2 more vehicles joining the collection, which is the Befehlswagen Panzer IV. This will be through Warbonds, and the British Thunderbolt Mark I also as part of Warbonds. But I hope that clears up everything that I've obviously gotten in the sale and earned over the last few months, because obviously I did the premium series. No, it was the premium showcase series, and obviously I like to keep you guys updated on stuff that I get, so I figured I'd just throw it all into one video. And well, I think I've done a pretty good job of that. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's sale overview and also all of the event vehicles, warbonds, etc. that I've gotten over the months. And I will leave you all to it and see you all on the next one.